The Meridian Alliance's flagship Starweaver emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol system, its quantum engines humming quietly against the void. Admiral Thex Vaughn stood on the bridge, his crystalline exoskeleton refracting starlight as he studied the approaching blue-green planet. Primitive but promising, he mused, multiple eyes scanning the sensor readouts. Another species ready to join the galactic community. His science officer, Carrie, slithered forward on her serpentine lower body, concern evident in her bioluminescent patterns. "Admiral, something isn't right with these readings." "Explain." "Their technology, it's inconsistent. They're simultaneously using nuclear fission and what appears to be zero-point energy. Their orbital satellites are primitive, yet they detected our arrival instantly despite our stealth systems." Vaughn's crystalline structure dimmed slightly, the equivalent of a frown. In 3 centuries of exploration, he'd never encountered such contradictions. The Meridian Alliance had contacted dozens of emerging civilizations, and all followed predictable technological progression patterns. The humans had designated a landing zone in a region called Australia. As the Starweaver descended through the atmosphere, more anomalies emerged. Their supposedly primitive scanning systems tracked the ship with impossible precision. The landing coordinates were perfectly calibrated to the Starweaver's specifications, despite Earth having no prior contact with their kind. The welcoming committee was surprisingly small, just 3 humans in simple clothing standing calmly in the red desert heat. No military presence, no media circus, no panicking crowds. Just quiet confidence that set Vaughn's threat assessment protocols humming. A tall woman with silver hair stepped forward as they disembarked. "Welcome to Earth, Admiral Vaughn. I'm Director Alexandra Santos of the Terran Diplomatic Corps. We trust your journey through the Carina Sagittarius arm was pleasant. The solar winds can be quite turbulent this season." Vaughn's crystalline structure flickered in shock. They hadn't transmitted their route, nor had they identified him by rank or name. And how did they know about the solar wind patterns in that sector? "You speak our language," he managed, trying to maintain his diplomatic composure. Director Santos smiled warmly. "We find it's helpful to be prepared. Shall we proceed to the facility? We've matched Meridian atmospheric preferences, though I should warn you our technology might seem eclectic." The facility appeared to be a simple concrete structure, yet Vaughn's personal scanner detected energy signatures that shouldn't be possible with Earth's supposed level of advancement. The door opened with an old-fashioned handle, but the air inside was perfectly calibrated for Meridian physiology down to the trace elements. Carrie's bioluminescence flickered rapidly as she analyzed their surroundings. "Director, how could you possibly know our atmospheric requirements?" The second human, a dark-skinned man with geometric tattoos decorating his arms, spoke up. "Trial and error. I'm Dr. Marcus Webb, Chief of Senescence. We're quite good at figuring things out. Would anyone care for refreshments? We have synthesized your traditional welcoming drink, though some visitors prefer our coffee." Vaughn accepted a cup of the dark human beverage, noting how the seemingly primitive ceramic mug maintained the liquid at precisely the optimal temperature without any visible technology. Every detail reinforced his growing suspicion that they were missing something enormous about humanity. "I believe," Director Santos said, settling into her chair, "you have questions. Let's start with the one you haven't asked yet. Why would a civilization capable of synthesizing Meridian biochemistry and building quantum-adjusted atmospheric systems pretend to be struggling with fossil fuels?" Before Vaughn could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. The third human, who had introduced himself only as Commander Roberts, checked what appeared to be an ancient mechanical timepiece, but displayed readings that surpassed anything in the Meridian fleet. "Right on schedule," he said grimly. "Director, we have multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Scavenger fleet from the Proxima cartel. They've been targeting developing worlds." Santos stood, her pleasant diplomatic demeanor shifting to something ancient and powerful. "Well, Admiral Vaughn, it seems the universe has decided to show rather than tell. Would you like to see what humanity is really capable of? The simple concrete walls around them transformed. Panels slid away, revealing displays of impossible complexity, each showing the approaching Proxima cartel fleet in pristine detail. What had appeared to be a basic meeting room was now a command center that made the Starweaver's bridge look primitive in comparison. 15 hostile vessels, heavy weapons configuration, Commander Roberts announced, his fingers dancing across what appeared to be an antique keyboard. They're using third-generation quantum drives. Cute. Carrie's bioluminescence pulsed with confusion. Third generation. The Meridian Alliance just developed fourth-generation drives. We thought we were at the cutting edge of propulsion technology. You are, Dr. Webb said kindly, for your age. Now, please watch carefully. This is a teaching moment. Director Santos stood before a holographic display that shouldn't have been possible with Earth's declared level of technology. Standard containment protocol, minimal disruption. Let's not traumatize our guests with anything too dramatic. The Proxima fleet dropped out of hyperspace, weapons charging. On the displays, Vaughn could see their formation, a standard predatory approach used to overwhelm developing worlds. Their energy readings suggested enough firepower to level continents. They never got the chance to fire. Space itself seemed to hiccup. The Proxima ships simply stopped, frozen in position as if caught in amber. No weapons, no dramatic explosions, just stillness. Localized temporal suspension field, Dr. Webb explained, noting the crystalline patterns of shocks spreading across Vaughn's exoskeleton. Much cleaner than weapons. The crews are perfectly safe, just taking an involuntary pause. You can control time itself. Carrie's voice trembled, yet your cities still burn fossil fuels. Among other things, Commander Roberts replied. His ancient-looking timepiece now projected a full tactical analysis of the contained ships. Director, think we should show them the archives while we're at it. Might help explain a few things. Santos nodded, and the floor beneath them became transparent. Vaughn and Carrie found themselves looking down into vast underground complexes stretching for kilometers in every direction. Ancient ships of impossible design sat alongside what appeared to be temporal observatories and technologies that defied description. Yet between these marvels sat humble steam engines, internal combustion motors, and other primitive machines, carefully maintained. Humanity reached the stars long ago, Santos explained, her voice carrying the weight of eons. We built empires, fought wars that made stars go dark, wielded power that no species should possess, and then we learned something that nearly destroyed us. Technology without wisdom is a path to extinction, Webb continued. We nearly wiped ourselves out dozens of times before we understood that true advancement isn't about having the most powerful tools, it's about knowing when not to use them. A new alert flashed across the command center's screens. Carrie read the incoming transmission, and her bioluminescence went dark with shock. Admiral, our archaeological team in the Carina sector just found human artifacts. They're millions of years old. Ah, Santos smiled softly. Right on schedule. Shall we explain why we've maintained this technological masquerade for so long? Why we've watched and waited as younger races reached for the stars? Before Vaughn could respond, every screen in the facility shifted, showing a darkness spreading between the stars, a void that consumed light itself. Something is awakening, Commander Roberts said grimly, his timepiece now projecting a countdown that made the humans' expressions turn serious. Something we fought long ago. Something that requires us to stop hiding and start preparing the galaxy's younger races for what's coming. You see, Admiral, Santos continued, your Meridian Alliance calls itself the Masters of Known Space. But there are regions of space that aren't known for very good reasons. Regions we've been guarding since before your ancestors developed their crystalline forms. Webb pulled up historical records that made Carrie's scientific protocols crash and restart. Earth isn't just our home. It's a preserve, a place to remember our roots, to maintain perspective. Those fossil fuel plants you noticed, they remind us of the cost of progress without foresight. The simple machines teach us humility. Every piece of so-called primitive technology serves a purpose, Roberts added, in our development program. Development program? Vaughan managed to ask. For ourselves and others, Santos explained. We've been guiding younger species, helping them avoid our mistakes. Those Proxima raiders? They'll wake up tomorrow with no memory of this incident, but with a mysteriously new understanding of why conquest isn't the answer. The darkness on the screens grew, spreading like ink through the stellar map. Commander Roberts' countdown accelerated. And now, Santos said, her eyes reflecting ancient knowledge, you understand why we're revealing ourselves. The galaxy's younger races need to be prepared. The true test is coming, and we'll need every civilization ready for what follows. Carrie's scientific curiosity overcame her shock. What is that darkness? That, Webb said quietly, is why we never fully retired our old weapons. Why we kept watching, waiting, and preparing. And why we need allies who understand that power isn't about what you can do. It's about what you choose not to do. Across the galaxy, discoveries began cascading like falling stars. On the desert world of Kepler 186f, a Meridian archaeological team uncovered a buried city beneath the shifting sands. The architecture was unmistakably human, yet the dating placed it at over 3 million years old. In the Pleiades cluster, a research station detected energy signatures matching Earth's primitive power plants, signatures that had been running continuously for 5 million years. Back in the Australian Command Centre, Director Santos traced a finger along the spreading darkness on the stellar map. We call them the Void Hunters. They're as old as the first stars, and they hunger for consciousness itself. The displays showed new images, massive structures floating in deep space, each bearing the unmistakable touch of human engineering. They made the Meridian Alliance's largest installations look like children's toys. Watchtowers, Commander Roberts explained. We built them back when we first encountered the Hunters. They've been standing guard while we helped younger species develop. Carrie's scientific mind raced to process the implications. The ancient ruins we found throughout the galaxy, the mysterious technological leaps in our history. Gentle nudges, Dr. Webb smiled. Helping you avoid the same mistakes we made. Those ruins, teaching tools, carefully placed to guide your development. Even your accidental discovery of quantum mechanics was, let's say, fortunate timing. Vaughan's crystalline structure pulsed with a mix of indignation and awe. You've been manipulating our development. Guiding, Santos corrected gently. There's a difference. We never gave you technology you couldn't handle. We just helped you ask the right questions at the right time. The facility's displays shifted, showing historical footage that made Carrie's luminescence flicker in disbelief. Humans, wearing what looked like simple environmental suits, walking among Meridian ancestors, subtly introducing concepts that would become the foundation of their civilization. The ancient teachers, she whispered, the mysterious beings from our oldest legends, they were humans. We've worn many faces, Webb acknowledged. Watched over many worlds. Some species needed more guidance than others. The Meridians showed particular promise. Your natural affinity for crystalline technology aligned well with sustainable development practices. New alerts flashed across the screens. The darkness between the stars was moving faster now, consuming light and matter alike. Commander Roberts' countdown accelerated again. The Hunters feed on technological civilizations, Santos explained. They're drawn to advanced energy signatures like moths to flame. That's why we maintained our masquerade. Why we kept most of humanity's true capabilities hidden in places like this. She gestured, and the facility's walls became transparent, revealing the true scale of the installation. It stretched for hundreds of kilometers in every direction, a vast complex of advanced technology and preserved primitive machines. Each piece of old technology we maintain serves a dual purpose, Webb continued. They're reminders of our journey, yes, but they're also camouflage. The Hunters can't track what they can't recognize as advanced technology. But now they're awake, Roberts added grimly. And hungry. We've kept them at bay for millions of years, protecting younger races as they developed. But we always knew this day would come, when we'd have to reveal ourselves and prepare the galaxy for war. Carrie studied the tactical displays with growing understanding. The inconsistencies in our historical records, the mysterious technological barriers that seem to protect developing worlds. Humanity's silent guardianship, Santos nodded. We built a network of defenses throughout the galaxy disguised as natural phenomena. Those impassable radiation fields protecting young civilizations. Early warning systems. The mysterious gravitational anomalies that discourage expansion in certain directions. Containment barriers. Vaughn's tactical training finally aligned with what he was seeing. You've been fighting a war all this time. A war no one else knew about. Fighting, preparing, and teaching weren't corrected. Every seemingly primitive technology we maintain, every archaeological discovery we arranged, every subtle nudge in your development, it was all preparation for this moment. The darkness on the screens accelerated its spread, and new alerts began flooding in from across the galaxy. Ancient human installations, hidden for millions of years, were coming online. Now, Santos said, her voice carrying the weight of eons, we need allies who understand what we've learned. Power isn't just about technology, it's about wisdom. The hunters can't be fought with weapons alone. They must be confronted with civilizations that understand the true meaning of advancement. The command center's displays shifted, showing thousands of locations across the galaxy where hidden human installations were awakening. Each activation revealed technologies that redefined what Vaughn and Curry thought possible. The coming war isn't about technological superiority, Director Santos explained, manipulating a holographic representation of the galaxy. It's about understanding the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. The Void Hunters don't just consume worlds. They devour awareness, potential, the very essence of sentient thought. Dr. Webb pulled up ancient records, recordings of humanity's first encounter with the Hunters. The images showed entire civilizations going dark, not through destruction, but through a kind of cosmic forgetting. Species that had reached for the stars simply stopped dreaming. We were lucky, Commander Roberts said, his timepiece now projecting a complex pattern of interdimensional calculations. We encountered them when we were young, brash, and impossibly stubborn. We didn't know enough to give up hope. That stubbornness saved us and taught us our true purpose. Carrie watched in fascination as the historical records show humanity's response to the Hunters. Instead of building bigger weapons or hiding in fear, they had done something unprecedented. They had chosen to step back, to remember what it meant to be young and full of wonder. The primitive technologies we maintain aren't just camouflage, Webb continued. They remind us. Each steam engine, each combustion motor, each fusion reactor represents a step in understanding. The Hunters can't comprehend this kind of progression. They only understand the end result, not the journey. The facility's deeper levels revealed themselves, showing vast chambers where humans worked with technologies both incredibly advanced and deceptively simple. In one room, scientists used quantum computers alongside mechanical calculators. In another, antimatter reactors sat next to wind turbines. Your civilization's greatest strength, Santos said to Vaughn, isn't your crystalline technology or your quantum drives. It's your capacity to understand both simple and complex solutions. That's what we've been nurturing in all the younger races, the wisdom to see value in every stage of development. New alerts flashed across the screens. The Void Hunters were accelerating their advance, but something was different now. Where they encountered awakened human installations, their progress slowed. Watch, Roberts commanded softly. The displays showed a hunter probe encountering what appeared to be a primitive human colony on a distant world. The probe's sensors, searching for advanced technology to consume, slid right past the settlement. But hidden beneath the simple exterior was a nexus of power that made Carrie's scientific instruments overload. Complexity disguised as simplicity, Webb explained. The hunters can't grasp the concept. They search for technological advancement in linear terms: bigger, faster, more powerful. They can't understand a civilization that chooses to remember its roots, that finds strength in simplicity. Vaughan's tactical mind finally grasped the full scope of humanity's strategy. You've been teaching us this lesson all along. Every technological limitation we encountered, every seemingly primitive human system we observed. All part of the preparation, Santos nodded. The Meridian Alliance, like every younger race we've guided, had to learn that true advancement isn't a straight line. Sometimes the most powerful solution is the simplest one. Sometimes the greatest wisdom lies in choosing not to use your full capabilities. The command center's displays suddenly shifted, showing a new type of darkness spreading among the stars. But this darkness was different. It was structured, purposeful. The human installations weren't just awakening, they were weaving something between the stars. The network we've built over millions of years, Roberts explained, is timepiece now synchronizing with similar devices across the galaxy. Not just defenses or monitoring stations, but something far more fundamental. We've been weaving a web of consciousness, connecting every world, every species, every different way of thinking and understanding. Because the hunter's greatest weakness, Webb added, is their inability to comprehend diversity. They can't understand why a species would choose to use simple tools alongside advanced technology. They can't grasp why a civilization would deliberately limit its progress to ensure wisdom keeps pace with capability. The Australian command center hummed with increasing energy as ancient systems, dormant for millions of years, synchronized across the galaxy. Director Santos stood before a wall of cascading data, her presence radiating a calm that belied the urgency of the moment. For millennia, we've maintained what we call the Wisdom Network, she explained, gesturing to points of light appearing between the stars. Not just a defense system, but a bridge between different ways of thinking, different approaches to understanding the universe. The displays showed new images, hidden human outposts activating on thousands of worlds, each one revealing technologies that seamlessly blended the ancient and the advanced. On one screen, a seemingly primitive agricultural colony transformed into a temporal research station. On another, what appeared to be simple radio telescopes unfolded into dimensional gateways. The Void Hunters feed on technological uniformity, Dr. Webb explained, monitoring the awakening systems. They're drawn to civilizations that pursue advancement along a single path, but when faced with multiple approaches, different ways of solving the same problem, they become confused. Carrie finished, her bioluminescence pulsing with sudden understanding. That's why you maintained such technological diversity. Why you helped different species develop different solutions to similar challenges. Commander Roberts nodded, his ancient timepiece now revealing itself as a control node for a vast network of temporal sensors. Humanity learned early that there's no single right way to progress. Some problems require quantum computers, others are best solved with abacuses. The hunters can't comprehend this kind of cognitive flexibility. The darkness between the stars continued to spread, but now it encountered resistance. Wherever it touched the awakening wisdom network, it recoiled, unable to process the contradictory signals it received. Watch, Santos directed, pointing to a cluster of young civilizations in the Orion Spur. As the hunters approached, each world's seemingly primitive defenses transformed, revealing layers of protection that had been hidden in plain sight. Simple radio transmitters became quantum entanglement fields. Basic satellite networks unfolded into temporal shields. Every young race we've guided, Webb said, has developed their own unique approach to understanding the universe. The Meridians mastered crystalline computing. The Arcturians excelled at biological technology. The Vega Collective specialized in plasma mechanics. Each path different, each equally valid. Vaughan watched in amazement as the tactical displays showed the true scope of humanity's preparation. The technological inconsistencies we detected, they weren't mistakes or primitive limitations. They were deliberate demonstrations. Teaching tools, Roberts confirmed. showing by example that progress isn't just about reaching for the most advanced solution. It's about understanding when to use which tool, when to advance, and when to remember. New alerts flashed across the screens. The Void Hunters, encountering this unprecedented resistance, were changing their strategy. Instead of their usual methodical advance, they began targeting seemingly vulnerable worlds. "Now comes the true test," Santos said grimly. "Commander, initiate the awakening protocol." Robert's timepiece pulsed with energy, sending signals across the galaxy. In response, humanity's hidden installations began their final transformation. The simple facades fell away completely, revealing what lay beneath: technologies that operated on principles the Meridians had never imagined possible. "We've maintained the masquerade for millions of years," Webb explained, waiting for this moment. "Now it's time to show the Hunters why diversity of thought, why the preservation of multiple paths of development is the greatest weapon against their uniformity." The displays showed new images: human ships emerging from temporal pockets, installations rising from beneath the surfaces of supposedly uninhabited worlds, and defense systems activating that made the most advanced Meridian weapons look like children's toys. "But our true strength," Santos said softly, "isn't in our hidden fleets or our advanced technology. It's in what we've helped create: a galaxy of civilizations, each unique, each bringing their own perspective to the challenge before us." The command center erupted with new activity as the Void Hunters launched their first direct assault on Earth. Instead of the panic Vaughn expected, the humans showed only calm determination. Director Santos stood unmoved as the darkness approached their solar system. "Now," she said quietly, "you'll understand why we chose Earth as our preserve. Why we maintained this balance of primitive and advanced technology. This isn't just our home, it's the keystone of everything we've built." The solar system itself began to change. What had appeared to be simple orbital debris transformed into an interlocking network of defense platforms. The asteroid belt revealed itself as an artificial construct, each rock containing technologies that defied comprehension. "The final demonstration," Dr. Webb explained, working at controls that seemed to manipulate reality itself. "Not of our power, but of our purpose. Commander?" Robert's timepiece expanded into a holographic control center, initiating the Unity Protocol, transmitting to all guided species now. Across the galaxy, every civilization that humanity had helped develop received the same signal: not a call for help, but an invitation to participate in something unprecedented. The displays showed their responses: Meridian crystal ships, Arcturian bioforms, Vega plasma constructs, all converging, each bringing their unique approach to confronting the darkness. "The Hunters feed on uniformity," Santos explained as the gathered forces assembled. "They consume civilizations that pursue power along a single path. But when faced with multiple approaches, multiple truths existing simultaneously." Carrie's scientific instruments detected something extraordinary. The different technologies weren't just working together, they were creating something new. Meridian crystals resonated with Arcturian biofields, amplified by Vegan plasma conduits, all guided by human temporal mechanics. "This is what we've been preparing for," Webb said softly. "Not a war of weapons, but a symphony of understanding. Each civilization contributing its unique perspective, its particular way of comprehending the universe." The Void Hunters struck Earth first, expecting to find a primitive world ripe for consumption. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented: a defense that operated on multiple levels of reality simultaneously. Simple radio waves carried quantum information. Primitive combustion engines powered temporal fields. Solar panels channeled energies from multiple dimensions. "Watch," Santos commanded, as the gathered forces of the galaxy's younger races engaged the Hunters. "This is why we maintained our masquerade. Why we helped each species develop its own path. The Hunters can't comprehend multiple truths existing simultaneously. They can't understand a civilization that embraces both simplicity and complexity." The dark mist recoiled wherever it encountered this unified defense. The hunters, evolved to consume technological uniformity, found themselves unable to process the sheer diversity of approaches confronting them. Every world we helped develop, Roberts explained, his timepiece now coordinating the combined fleet, every civilization we guided, brought something unique to this moment. The Meridians' crystalline logic, the Arcturians' organic computing, the Vegans' plasma consciousness, all different, all essential. Vaughn watched in awe as his people's ships joined the defense of Earth, their crystalline technology harmonizing with systems both far more primitive and far more advanced than their own. You weren't just preparing us for this fight, you were preparing us to understand it. Understanding is the key, Santos nodded. The hunters consume knowledge, but they can't comprehend wisdom. They devour technological advancement, but they can't grasp why a species would choose to remember its origins, to maintain connection with simpler ways of thinking. The combined fleet pressed its advantage. Wherever the hunters encountered this unified defense, they found themselves unable to feed, unable to process the multiple layers of reality being presented to them. The darkness began to fragment, then retreat. This is humanity's true legacy, Webb said, as the displays showed the hunters withdrawing across the galaxy. Not our advanced technology, not our ancient wisdom, but our ability to see value in every stage of development, to understand that true progress isn't about abandoning the old for the new, but about finding the right balance between them. As the immediate threat receded, Santos turned to their visitors. Now you understand why we revealed ourselves. Not because we needed help fighting the hunters, but because the galaxy needed to understand what we learned millions of years ago, that the greatest power lies not in uniform advancement, but in the harmony of diverse approaches. The age of masquerade is over, Roberts announced, his timepiece returning to its simple appearance. But the age of learning continues. There'll always be new challenges, new threats, new opportunities to grow in understanding. Carrie's bioluminescence pulsed with emotion, and humanity will continue to guide us. Santos smiled warmly. Not as superiors, but as teachers who still have much to learn ourselves. After all, the greatest wisdom lies in knowing that there is always more to understand, more ways to view the universe, more paths to explore together. The command center's displays showed the galaxy returning to normal, but fundamentally changed. The younger races had seen what was possible when different approaches worked in harmony. The Void Hunters had been driven back not by superior firepower, but by something they could never comprehend: the power of diverse understanding unified in purpose. This, Webb said softly, is just the beginning.